Renewable and clean energy is one of the pillars of the Sustainable Development Goal number 7. The penetration of renewable energy sources in the global mix is fostered for both the developed and developing countries. This represents, of course, an economic opportunity for the private sector and the global community. The Business and Sustainable Development Commission indicates that clean energy is one of the largest business themes for the SDGs, with an expected global value of $1,200 billion of incremental opportunities in 2030. In turn, according to the International Renewable Energy Agency, the energy transition would generate a net gain of over 11 million jobs by 2050. Let's see some of the market opportunities related to deliver the goal number 7. At least $500 billion is the expected business opportunity for energy efficiency. According to the International Energy Agency (IEA), the global building sector is responsible for more than 30% of final energy consumption, 50% of the total electricity demand, and nearly 30% of total direct and indirect CO2 emissions. In this context, opportunities for the private sector consist in the retrofitting of the existing buildings with more efficient heating and cooling systems, insulation, and the provision of more efficient domestic appliances. Moreover, adopting energy efficiency policies and measures can represent a value of incremental opportunities up to $300 billion in 2030, also for both energy and non-energy intensive industries. The diffusion and expansion of clean renewable energy resources can represent an opportunity of $165 to $600 billion for energy producers and equipment manufacturers in 2030. These are estimates based on the expected penetration of renewable in the global energy mix. In the projected scenarios, the IEA indicates that the share of renewables in the total power generation, including hydro, could increase up to 40% by 2040 worldwide. Given the rapid deployment of photovoltaics led by China and India, solar is forecast to be the largest source of clean capacity by 2040, and both businesses and households investing in distributed generation are speeding up this transition. Focusing on Europe, this scenario is even more optimistic. Renewables are forecast to account for 80% of the new power capacity, and wind will become the leading source of electricity soon after 2030. If coupled with the transition towards a cleaner global energy supply mix, electric and hybrid vehicles can represent the catalyst to a further decarbonization of the transport sector. The market share of electric vehicles is growing, and considering that the current global passenger vehicle fleet will probably turn over completely by 2030, the value of incremental opportunities for this sector is estimated to be around $300 billion, with potentially 60% of new light-duty electric and hybrid vehicles sales. This scenario of opportunities can increase further if we consider the impact of removing subsidized and properly pricing resources, including water, fossil fuels and food, and externalities, especially the greenhouse gas emissions. In the case of renewable expansions and energy efficiency in non-energy intensive industries, the value of incremental opportunities can increase by around 40%. Let's consider a real example from one of the largest telephone operators and mobile network providers in the world, Telefonica. According to the Paris Agreement, the companies set 4 objectives for the period of 5 years between 2015 and 2020 to contrast the climate change. First, reduce energy consumption by 50% per unit of traffic. They achieved this goal 3 years ahead in 2017. Second, reduce the absolute CO2 emissions from 30% by 2020 to 50% by 2050. Third, save 9 million euros from energy efficiency projects. Fourth, use 50% of electricity from renewable sources in 2020 and 100% in 2030. Different reasons and drivers encourage the company in pursuing this new energy strategy. First, reducing the energy consumption and carbon emissions means reducing operational cost and therefore providing services at a better price than their competitors. Second, a response to the raising customers' awareness of environmental issues who are demanding the company to reduce emissions in relation to the services provided. Then, for protecting the business operation from future regulatory shocks, as the carbon pricing. Finally, the development and the offering of new services based on advanced connectivity systems that allow the customers themselves to become more energy efficient. Moving to developing countries, the achievement of the sustainable energy for all is one of the targets of the SDG number 7. The IEA, in their Energy Access Outlook 2017, estimates that achieving that goal would require around $786 billion from 2017 to 2030. That is 3.4% of the total energy sector investment. In this scenario, an increased role is played by the decentralized power systems, highlighting the potential engagement of the private sector through new business models and financial schemes, creative partnerships, technological cooperation and innovative governance, capacity building and creation of local expertise, which are crucial for making strategic and effective investments. Indeed, although the relationship between energies, business operations and development are clear from a macroeconomic perspective, this link is far from being completely captured and characterized in local context of developing countries. The complexities behind the energy development nexus in remote context generate new challenges for the global commitment to achieving the energy access goal. This would of course require cross-partnerships between the private sector with governments, NGOs and research institutions, and this is the aim of the Energy Access Practitioner Network promoted by the Sustainable Energy for All initiative to achieve the SDG number 7 by 2030.